News, events, sports. Same time, same place, right in the heart of Isla Vista. UCSBTV is serving UC Santa Barbara and the surrounding community with real journalism.
Hello, Isla Vista. Alexandra Goldberg here with UCSB TV. Thank you so much for tuning into UCSB TV, UCSB's only broadcast news station on campus, bringing you all of the sports, news, and events you need to know about Isla Vista and the surrounding community. On today's show, the annual Pardall Carnival went down last Sunday, inviting the Isla Vista community out for a day of free food and games. We have that recap. Then we're highlighting men's tennis, talking to two athletes about their Big West Championship. But first, the Associated Students 2023 election is now behind us. Now the elected body looks towards the next academic school year. Here are the results. To you, Rebecca.
Wooden signs scattered across grass lawns. Shouts of vote rang through the arbor, and campaigns flooded social media feeds. These are some of the sights and sounds UCSB students have experienced for the past 2 weeks as Associated Students held its 2023 election.
This year's Associated Students election comes after a lot of controversy for the past year regarding issues of voter turnout, inclusivity, and transparency within the organization.
By election board and legal code mandate, a 20% threshold must have been reached for voting to conclude. This election has a 13% higher mark than previous special election for the internal vice president, which had a voter threshold of 7%. 4,473 undergraduate students showed up at the polls, meeting the required votes minimum by 5 p.m. on the 27th of April.
The student body voted to reaffirm all on-ballot services and organizations, keeping them going for the next school year.
Some of these groups and spaces include Campus Learning Assistance Services, or CAPS, IV Tenants Union, the USEN, Arts and Lectures, and other news outlets, such as The Bottom Line and the Daily Nexus.
The student body also voted on whether or not they'd like to increase fees on certain organizations.
Undergraduates approved the fee increase of Coastal Fund, the Education Opportunity Program, and the Food Bank, but failed to approve the increase of KCSB's fees.
Students running for office looking to make a change in the Santa Barbara community also got their results as well.
Undergraduates running for leadership got their election results at the Hub on Thursday evening, lighting the fire of elected officials to focus on their goals for the 2023 to 2024 school year. I spoke with two newly elected AS leaders to discuss their vision during their term and how they celebrated their win.
So what was your motivating factor for running for the role of president? What drove you to start a campaign?
I think that kind of since I came to UCSB, I knew that I wanted to have some type of leadership impact on the campus community. And I think that being president, you need to have some level of experience and understanding of kind of the internal functioning of AS.
Yeah.
So I took the time for over the past few years to really deeply understand it, worked very closely with the past two presidents to kind of understand their leadership styles and what it really takes to be in this role. I think I knew for sure that I wanted to run for president kind of right at the onset of the Ukraine-Russia crisis. Mm-hmm. I'm a Ukrainian student. My parents are immigrants from the former Soviet Union. Yeah. And I realized when I was trying to help students, international students especially from Ukraine that were struggling due to the crisis, first of all, how few resources there were for minorities on campus, and how inaccessible the ones that we had were, because there really is no knowledge and there isn't really a lot of effort, to be honest, to get that knowledge out there.
What was your motivating factor for running for the role of internal vice president?
I've been in AS a long time. I've served 2 terms in Senate. I've worked under 3 different IVPs, and I don't like how AS is run. I don't think the internal infrastructure is sufficient to support the student body, and I thought I could do a better job.
How was campaigning? How was it talking with your friends and meeting students here at UCSB in your campaign?
Campaigning is very, very difficult, and I think that it's not something that people realize. I think that just the planning that goes into a campaign and putting in all that effort to kind of just get your message across, because frankly, students, they want Associated students to be better. Yeah. And a lot of the time, because we've disappointed them in the past, they have a hard time looking to us as leaders and, you know, seeing that we can fix those issues. But I think that also what was so incredible about campaigning on such a large scale and, you know, for the biggest role in the association was I got to meet with so many students.
Yeah.
And a large part of my campaign was asking them what they wanted to see. So for me, it was just meeting with communities, meeting with different students, meeting with student groups that I'd really never met before.
Yeah.
And it gave me the opportunity to really understand what are the problems that even I'm not seeing.
What was the process of campaigning like? How was the student body reactant to it? How are your friends reacting to it?
I hate campaigning. It wasn't fun. I don't like begging for votes. I refuse to DM people, which probably wasn't the best move, but it worked. I don't like how campaigning works here. At other UCs, I feel like the student body is a lot more involved in the politics. There's debates. Here, it's just kind of like stick up a board and hope people know your name. I feel like I only won off name recognition alone, which I think isn't how we should be selecting candidates, but it's how it's working here.
What are you hoping to address, whether it be through your goals next year that the student population also wants you to address, or your own personal issues?
Yeah, I think that the Senate that I'm a part of right now has been absolutely incredible in calling out the issues that have not been called out in the past. Even though, you know, students have been speaking about financial transparency for so long, this Senate is the first one to actually put like those concerns on the table and act on them. And that's been something that I've been super proud of, is sitting on a Senate that is actually doing what they say they're going to do and acting upon student concerns. You know, there's half of it that's lobbying for these efforts, right? Lobbying against Munger Hall, lobbying for, you know, against the sweeps eviction. But then there's another half of it, which is what are the resources within associated students that are available? Why don't students know about them? And why aren't we allocating funding for the things that are students right now that they need, right? So if we see that we're having a housing crisis, it's important for us to cover that issue area. We have a financial crisis response team, of course, and during the Ukraine-Russia crisis, they were doing whatever that they, you know, what they could to support the Ukrainian students. So why is that not happening right now for the students that are being evicted from sweeps?
So what are the goals and issues that you also want to tackle outside of that?
So the biggest goal issue in AS right now is we have been assumed to be a 501c3 nonprofit for a very long time. And it turns out in 2016, we filed our last 990 form, which means we were no longer a 501c3 nonprofit. AS is no longer run by students. The Associated Students is no longer run by students. It's run by administrators and non-students, which is really concerning for a self-governing body. My biggest goal is to revert back to a 501c3 or find a mediation where we can, as students, run Associated Students. My biggest platform point was financial transparency. I've proven in the past, I have a really good track record of actually achieving financial transparency, and I've got some big plans to continue achieving financial transparency in the future.
What are your plans, if any, of next year to address the Munger Hall crisis, to kind of carry on Gurleen's mission, and how are you going to affect UCSB's experience with housing?
A large part of it is exactly what you said, which is continuing what President Pardall is already doing. I know that she conducted a large survey, and that's part of it, right? Like what I said earlier, where I am going to be uplifting students and standing with them against Munger Hall when it comes to lobbying those efforts. But that only goes so far. As president and as I'm speaking for the association, there's also a lot of power in, I don't want to say in ultimatums, but in like joint agreements. For example, we're looking at the Ocean Road project in student health, and Senate came to the table and they said, if we don't get a memo of understanding that student health will be available, that you're not going to be taking away these resources, then we have to take further action, and unless it happens. And guess what? A week later, we had a memo of understanding. So that's the type of action that I think needs to be taken. It's about trying to find agreements where we can actually enact tangible change. Hopefully with my communication skills and my leadership and the team and the students that I have behind me, I'll be able to actually fulfill those goals.
And how has your experience with Associated Students been so far, and what are you looking to change about it? Or keep?
I hate AS. The deeper you get to AS, the more like it is. Can I say that?
You can. We can blur it.
I can tell you what I like about AS. I like the BCUs. The BCUs do good work. There's so many people who are so passionate about the things that they believe in and are willing to put in a lot of work to further their goals and the goals for the student body. I'm not confident in upper management. Is a really mild way to put it. I think we in upper management do a horrible job of helping BCUs and the student body as a whole. It almost feels like we don't understand what we're there for. I like the BCUs, I like the people in AS, but I don't like the structure, I don't like how it's run.
As graduates cheerily complete their last midterm cycle and the California sun peeks out, the 2023 Associated Students election season is finally over. With UCSB TV, I'm Rebecca Fairweather.
That was Rebecca Fairweather, news reporter with the 2023 AS election results. Up next, the annual Pardall Carnival brought out UCSB students for a free day of carnival fun. Pricila Flores was on the scene.
After the UCSB community received an email urging them to come to the Pardall Carnival this Sunday to view their $10,000 Ferris wheel, let's see what it's all about.
The annual Pardall Carnival came full force this year as members of the Isla Vista community came together on Sunday to enjoy the activities put on by the Isla Vista Relations Committee, an Associated Students group. The IVRC stirred quite a commotion online following their mass email where they pleaded the students and community members to come to the carnival as they had spent $10,000 on a 30-foot Ferris wheel. The email was then posted on a Reddit forum where people were not impressed by the email and its contents, many not liking the joking tone the email was written in. A Reddit user by the name of UON responded with, quote, "Hi, thanks for posting, I wrote this," end quote. The user then broke down the budget for this committee, which is $184,922 a year, and how the money is used. The user then corrects the previous monetary amount used on the Ferris wheel and states it was actually $12,000. They go on to discuss their comedic writing style by saying that, quote, "I think it is funny and has some truth to it, but I apologize if it's not actually funny and not actually truthful," end quote.
I'd say it takes about 15 grand. So, and it's half of it, or most of it is spent on the Ferris wheel. But like I believe Yuan has already mentioned on the online attention that we got, we do have a different budget. We just been reaffirmed this year by student fees. So this is your money going back to you, and it's not taking away from any other events that's happening made by AS. It's specifically just for us, and it's just for you guys.
Many Reddit users appreciated Yuan's response and applauded his transparency. Following the email and Reddit discourse, the Pardall Carnival put forth a day of free games, food, raffles, and prizes for the Isla Vista community.
And the reason we have all of this is we want to bring students and non-students alike together. So often as students, we often forget that there are people who don't go to UCSB who still live in Ivy. This is our attempt to bring people together, create some new friendships, and just let everyone have fun, and support local businesses all at the same time.
Pardall Street was closed for the event from 12 to 4 p.m., where community members flooded the street and enjoyed the carnival.
It's like a fun thing to do on a Sunday afternoon, so yeah, free food, free Ferris wheel. We're seniors, so it's like we should go at the last time. Yeah.
Got the food vouchers.
We stopped at little booths and stuff, talked to people. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me. I'm Pricila with UCSB TV.
That was Pricila Flores, events reporter on the grounds of the Pardall Carnival. And last up, the UCSB men's tennis joined UCSB TV today for a conversation about their Big West victory. Hannah Abergel has the story.
Hey Gauchos, Hannah Abergel here for UCSB TV. Today I get the chance to interview two of our UCSB men's tennis players.
Hello, my name is Paulo Masjuan. I'm a junior for UCSB men's tennis. How's it going? Diego Castillo, also a junior here at UCSB.
The Gauchos recently won the Big West Championships on Saturday. Pablo, how was that for you? I think it was your second Big West Championship for UCSB?
Yes, it's been my second title here. I won in my freshman year. We couldn't do it last year, and then we've done it this year. It was super exciting for the team. I think we've built a great team this year, and I'm super happy that we've accomplished this goal.
Yeah. What do you think was the difference between last year and this year's Big West tournament?
Well, I think the quality of tennis, we've had it both years, but this year we've done a really good job making a great culture inside the team and making it more than just a team, making it a family. We've got a great job also with the coaches. We've done a great job working with them individually, and I think the work has paid off.
Yeah, and you're from Fresno State. How was that transition from Fresno to UCSB?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. Blake and the guys, when I first came here, were really welcoming. They really made the transition super easy, and they brought me in with open arms, and it's been great.
Yeah, and this is now your first Big West championship here with the Gauchos. What is going through your head?
Yeah, I'm just filled with excitement, getting a chance to play for NCAAs coming up this week, so just excited to keep on playing.
And so recently, you guys just got announced that you guys are playing San Diego for the NCAAs. What are we expecting from that? You guys haven't really played San Diego yet, so what's kind of the game plan?
Well, I think we expect a battle. We know how good they are, but we also know how good we are. And yeah, every position, every match is going to be a tough match for us, but it's also going to be a tough match for them.
Pablo, you received your first Big West Player of the Week. How does it feel?
Well, it's something that, doesn't really matter getting it or not. At the end of the day, it's just an award for like the best player in the conference for that week. Doesn't really mean anything special, but it's something that I've wanted for my last couple of years, especially. And yeah, it felt good to achieve it in the way that we achieved it after we beat Cal that weekend.
And now, what would you say is your long-term and short-term goal for this upcoming season?
Short-term goals, looking to win a round in the NCAAs and hopefully make a run there. And then hopefully next year we could crack the top 20 for our ITA rank.
And last question, if you guys were to be stranded on an island, who would you call, and what is one thing you would take with you?
I would call my dad, because he always has a solution for everything.
Yeah.
And one thing I would take, well, this one is tough. One thing I would take, as there's no limit, I would take a plane to go back to normal life.
Do you know how to fly a plane?
I'll figure it out, and if not, I'll just not make it.
I'm definitely calling my mom. She's one of the best problem solvers out there. And if I was stuck in an island, I'd probably bring sour Skittles, my go-to snack. And yeah.
What's your favorite flavor?
Out of the sour Skittles?
Yes.
Strawberry. And yours?
Sour cherry.
Okay.
No, I didn't even know they had strawberry.
Is it not strawberry?
I think it's cherry.
I eat healthy.
Alright, Gauchos, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to watch the UCSB men's tennis team take on San Diego on May 5th.
That's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to UCSB TV. I'm Alexandra Goldberg, and we'll see you next week.